I'll be damned if I'm going to empower a government to extend beyond its constitutional limits using the same bastardized use of the Commerce Clause that we have decried for decades because it has expanded a government that is now tyrannically using its power to go after the American people, go after former politicians, including the former president, that is spending money we don't have, that is using that power to regulate us to death on virtually every bill that virtually every Republican on this side of the aisle that claims to be a limited government conservative votes for. Why? Because they don't want the Fraternal Order of Police or other law enforcement organizations to come after them. Well, last night, I didn't even have an amendment circulated yet. I simply begged the question, why are we putting forward a bill that expands the power of the Department of Justice under the Commerce Clause, no matter how meritorious our goal is of assuring cop killers go to jail? Why are we doing that? Aren't we limited government conservatives who don't believe in the expansive use of the Commerce Clause to expand the power of the federal government? Because it's used for thousands of other things that we don't like. I hadn't even gotten the ink dry on the concept of an amendment when someone in this body had already notified police organizations and said, go after him. Well, you know what? Go ahead. I work for 750,000 Texans. I respond to them, to God, and the Constitution of the United States. I do not work for anybody in this chamber. I do not work for any organization. I don't work for any donor. I work for the people. And I work for a people who are sick and damn tired of this institution run by a bunch of people who campaign saying one thing and they get here and do another. $34.5 trillion of debt, $1 trillion every 3 months. We already spend more on interest than our defense. We're about to crack $1 trillion of interest. They say we will hit $2 to $3 trillion of interest by 2030. Our borders are wide open. We have kids dying. We had Austin, Texas. 4 more people the other night died from fentanyl poisoning. A bunch of others had to be resuscitated with Narcan. The people of Texas are continuing to deal with thousands of people pouring across the border. It's not in the headlines right now because universities are in the headlines. But everybody in Texas who are reeling from inflation, who can't afford a car, who can't afford their home, who can't afford the interest on their mortgage, who can't afford to buy groceries, who are dealing with crime on their streets, who are dealing with open borders, they all want some sort of sanity coming out of this institution. And what do? What do Republicans do in all of their infinite wisdom? We fund more of it. We fund the Department of Homeland Security again. We give the FBI a brand new $200 million headquarters. You can't even make this stuff up. We give more power to the intelligence community to spy on Americans. Don't even protect Americans with warrants. You can't even make it up. Over the last 16 months, there has been a battle which represents the larger war brewing within the Republican Party because unfortunately my colleagues on the other side of the aisle are so far gone down the rabbit hole of radical, progressive policies that absolutely destroy our country every single day, littering our country with regulations, littering our country with all sorts of crime, littering our country with open borders, engaging in endless wars, all of the stuff that is happening because our Democratic colleagues are frankly undermining the American dream and undermining Western civilization and undermining everything we hold dear. There's been a battle going on for the soul of the party and the country within the Republican Party. And I want to tell you, I'm not in the majority. I'm not. You say, Chip, you're in the majority in the House. You get a razor-thin majority. No, I'm not. I'm not in the majority. I'm in the minority. A minority of Republicans who try to wake up here and change this place rather than just campaign on it.